Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm delighted to share our project. It's about the contemporary AI and the machine learning application by fund managers. And this is collaborates with my colleagues, Professor Marilyn Duggan and Dr. Sam Peterson and Dr. Lin Nguyen. And our industry partner is the Cardinal, and we also get in-kind contribution from the Berkeley Hedge database. Right, so our research questions is that we look at the current application of the AI by the founder industries. So there's a gap between the empirical studies and the reality in the industry. So we try to fill the gap by map the current AI application patterns and identify some key drivers and the factors to facilitate these AI implementations. And we also identify some challenges and the implications for the policymaker and for the industry. So we take a mixture research methods. We run the quantitative components methods. We distribute our survey and questionnaire to the industry, and we also interview some fund managers. And in this way, we combine some statistics analysis and the regression analysis and the synthetic analysis from these interviewed materials. So I'm going to present our first part of findings. So, right, the survey results, the first one. So except the two extreme cases, there are 11% of a fund that they don't use AI in our survey in the interview, and there are 11%, another 11%, they use the AI quite intensively. And most of them, about 77% of funds, they use some kind of AI, but most of them in the early stage. So this reveals the current situation. There is the heterogeneity in the adoption of AI by the fund management industry. So our next question is, what exactly these founder managers, they use AI? And the first one we find out is about 66% of a fund, they use the AI in the investment analysis. And this is quite straightforward, since the AI machine learning, they are quite good at analyze the data and the statements. And for example, we can use the large language model to analyze the data and the speech and the statement. And the next one is 37%. This is a fund that use AI for the back office operations. And this is like some routine work or operational work, and they use AI to facilitate these operations. Now, the last point is quite surprising. We find out the least application of AI in the fund management industry is the risk management. And this might be probably this fund industry, they don't trust AI, and AI application is still in the early stage. So for the critical application about risk management, it's quite conservative. Our next question is so look at the drive for this AI application, and we found out that the internal efficiency is the most important drive for the AI application. It's not like some people predicted that the external competition is the pressure. That is not. The internal efficiency is the most important drive for pushing the fund manager to use AI. And we found that the most important predictors for the AI application is actually the fund manager's AI understanding and literacy. So if a fund manager, they know AI more, they will use AI more. And the second predictor is the internal efficiency. And the last two quite surprising findings is that we find that the large fund managers, the large fund companies and the older fund companies, actually they don't use AI so much. Maybe probably there's quite a complicated existing systems for them to incorporate AI systems. And we identify some barriers for the AI application. The first one we find is like the lack of internal expertise. This is the most challenging part. It's very difficult to find the specialists good in the finance and AI. So this is the first challenges. And also about the uncertainty of AI. And for the fund managers, it's difficult for them to identify the value of AI. So, and the following part is like a financial constraint and the technical complexity also restrict the AI application. And we find about most of the fund industry companies, they don't invest too much money in the AI development. Now, of course, there are some pioneer companies, they invest quite a lot in AI. So this is the first part of the findings from the survey. And we also run interview. And the first findings we find that, and so many fund industries, they take AI as the early stage. And they usually use the AI for data collection and analysis. And the critical part is still human intervention. So human need to oversight this application. And in the third stage, especially for the final decision, this is heavily rely on the human knowledge in the decision. And this is quite easy to understand. The AI is good at the statement analysis and some routine work. But AI is difficult to analyze this complicated situation, and especially some the market's big changes. Another finding from interview is so many fund managers, they say the data quality is the big issues for the application. And if the data, the quality is bad, the results is not trustable. And another challenge is the AI is kind of like a black box. It's difficult to explain the results and the underlying mechanisms, underlying the models. And also for the regulatory, it's also in the early stage. And some managers, they say that regulators, they are still trying to understand and figure out the AI. And our next finding is the specific application of AI. And most of these companies, they still use AI for some complicated data, but it's the quantitative data. And AI is the good at this, but they also recognize that AI is difficult to handle some high noise financial data. So especially in the qualitative aspects, for example, geopolitical risk, it's difficult for AI to understand and analyze these complicated issues in the human world. And so another finding from interview is that AI produces some democratizations, and it's easy for some, especially retail investors or some small companies, to use AI to produce advanced model in the result. So the implication for the fund manager is that just the fund manager can focus on the AI literacy development, and also try to start from the operational efficiency improvements with AI, and you take a phased implementation stages and gradually use AI to the critical applications. And also change the management strategies, especially for the large company and old companies, to take AI. And for the investors, we recommend the investors should assess the fund managers' AI literacy, and this is important, and also calibrate the expectation. AI application is still in the early stage. And also, they can change the fee structure. So nowadays, the investor, they can trust the small companies, use AI to make advanced applications and the decisions. And also, risk managers need to keep in mind, this is still need to rely on traditional methods. And our implication for the regulatory development is that they need to also develop AI literacy, and also can take different levels of oversight landscape to monitor different applications for AI in the fund industry, and also take proactive engagement strategies, and gradually and look at the AI application in the founder industry, especially take the strict requirements to the data governance. And talking about the data governance, and it's like they can develop some collaboration between the industry and to build a good data governance. And then like they can develop a framework and take a systematic approach, a phased approach. So the future direction, we look at the more application of AI in the industry, and as a conclusion, we filled the gap and we identify some factors and suggestions to the industry. Thank you.